There comes a time in everyone's life that we need that advice that will lead us in the right direction so that the decisions we take will end up making us happy people. Welcome to Issues by Elsie. A lady once walked up to me and asked, telling me that she wanted to go home and divorce her husband. Apparently, as a colleague, we had been talking and we all had our husbands overseas at the time. She was dealing with a lot of infidelity. She would constantly tell me of what the man was doing. She works money she sends home for her children. The man spent the money on the girlfriend and a host of other things. She decided to take a trip home after 5 years, and she explained to me that she wanted my advice. She came to me telling me she needed my advice because she had had it up to here with the man's infidelity and was at a point where she wanted to actually just go home and get a divorce before returning to America. I remember her following me at work and telling me, Elsie, I really need your advice. And I said, okay, we will take a break together and we'll have a conversation with what is really bothering you, because you could tell she was really drained. When we went on break, she sat down, she explained, she said, I want to go home and divorce this man. I'm so done with him. And I want to get your point of view. Should I go and I divorce him? Mind you, we had been talking, like I said, we had been having a conversation, and she would always fill me in on what was happening. And I also, having my husband at the time overseas, waiting for him to come, I would always also have a conversation, but you could tell she was drained. So after she talked to me, I remember that day when she came in, I had come in at work, the first thing she told me, Elsie, I need to talk to you, I need your advice. I silently prayed and I said, Lord, help me. When we went and sat down during break, I remember the message the Spirit ministered to me was, it's not about you. So I sat down, and after she talked and talked, I asked her, do you really want my honest advice? She said, yes, Elsie, that is why I came to you, because I know that you will advise me in the right direction. I said, okay, thank you for the confidence. But from what you have been telling me about this man, my spirit doesn't tell me that you should go home and divorce this man. She looked at me and she was a little bit baffled. And she said, Elsie, but you always talk against infidelity, against adultery. I said, yes, I always talk about it. The angle from which I am coming from is not the way or your own situation. You told me to tell you the truth, and I want to use your situation based on what you have been telling me from the day you married this man. That's how I'm going to advise you. I asked her again, didn't you say I should tell you the truth? She said yes. I asked her, I said, remember you once told me what you did so that this man could notice and marry you? She said yes. I asked her also, I said, remember you also told me that while even at home, this man was not faithful. Many a times you had relatives who had called you and told you who he was dating. And even though you knew about his infidelity, you never walked out of the marriage. Secondly, I asked her, when you had the opportunity to come to America, what did you do? I asked her, why did you come to America? She explained that she couldn't make ends meet with the teaching job that she had. And so she prayed for an opportunity so that she could make the life of her children and her family better. I said, yes, and God answered that prayer. When you won the lottery, what did you do? She told me she couldn't bring in her husband at the time because she didn't know what to expect. So she came first by herself so that she would later on be able to bring them. I asked her, you knew very well that this was a man, while you were there, he was not faithful. But you took a chance. While I say a chance, because when it came time to come to America, would you agree with me that you chose America over your marriage, over your family? She looked at me in silence, and she took some time and she said, yes. I said, "Oh, yes, I want us to, we are having a conversation, and I'm wanting to be honest, because all you have told me is what this man has done wrong. I want you to also see that you have a part to play, regardless of the fact that you only see him as the fault." I said, would you say that you chose America over your marriage, over your children, and whatever that might be happening now in your absence, you have a part or you contributed to it? She said that yes. And then I told her, I said, well, would you also agree with me that one of the reasons why you feel you should go home now and discard this man is because you have an upper hand in money? There is money in your pocket. You have been able to build a house and do things which you couldn't do before? She said yes. I said, then, if the reason why you feel, I'm not saying that the infidelity doesn't hurt, because she explained things like when soup is cooked for the children, the girlfriend will come and carry the soup away to the mother's house. When she sends money to be spent on the children, the man will buy cloth and instead give but the girlfriend, and even go and give the girlfriend's mother, whereas her own mother is there. She had never, the husband has never bought any cloth and taken to the mother and stuff like that. And so I explained to her, I said, well, yes, that is the pain that you have to deal with. But like we have said, if the reason why you feel you are able to go now and discard this man is because you have an upper hand in money, I said, then you don't really have a reason, because you've dealt with this infidelity before. You created a situation where you left him knowing very well that he's such a vulnerable man, or he is even cheated while you were there with him. I said, so if it is just about money, then you don't really have a point. And I said, plus, if you go and divorce him, a man at that age, you just want him to die, because he's probably just going to think he still has hope because he knows that he has you in America. And plus, he's a covering over your children. You want to go pull him out. Many things could happen. I don't know about your culture, but if he is there, I believe that he still protects your children, and your children can call him father. That is the weakness he has. You've dealt with it before. I asked her if the man has ever been violent. She said, no, the man has never laid a hand on her. I said, then you go. Then that is his weakness. You've dealt with it before. Find a way, bring over your husband, and let him be with you. And she told me her mom doesn't want her to bring the man because of the man's actions and everything. I said, well, that's your mother. Your mother has lived her life. She cannot cross and come in and start telling you who you bring into America, who you don't bring, and stuff like that. That is your husband. You bring him. He would always be with you, and the two of you can raise your children and everything. She traveled home. She eventually left, traveled home, went, and was able to reconcile with the husband. And she would come back and later on tell me that she went and placed a curse on the girlfriend. I think according to their culture, they can use maybe like some 7 or 8 rivers. They believe it works, and place a curse on you. And she was able to break that relationship using that curse between the husband and the girlfriend. As I speak to you, she eventually filed for the man and brought over the man. And I remember when she came back, she told me, she came to me and said, Elsie, I want to thank you for giving me good advice. I went home. I didn't divorce him. We reconciled. We talked about it. And I really want to appreciate you. Now, like I said, she eventually filed for the man, and the man, I believe they are living now happily ever after with their children too that have gone to college and everything. Why do I tell us this story? People will come to us. People will watch our lives. They will come to us for advice when they are at a crossroad in their lives. We must be very careful when we are giving people counsel or advice. Remember, it's not about you. What you believe and stand for, you are what you accept or tolerate in your marriage. You don't expect other people to tolerate it. Or what you cannot tolerate in your marriage, you should be pushing other people to tolerate it. Every marriage is different. Every situation is always different. When people are at a point where they really need advice, we must be very careful that what we tell them will help them. Because when people are sinking, remember, they are looking for anything to hang on. And if you are not careful, if you bring your emotions, if you think that because someone has come to you, you should just tell them how you feel or you bring your emotions to the table, remember, it's never about you, but it's about the person who trusts you enough to come to you, that you can help them with good counsel, because remember, what you tell them will either make or break them. If we must advise people, let's be honest, let's be truthful, let's remember, it's not about us.